Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we take a smirky look at the real financial stories behind the headlines. Today we're diving into some news from Farmers National Banc Corp that dropped on July 23, 2020-2025. So grab your coffee and let's see what's brewing. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, remember to hit that subscribe button if you love decoding these corporate filings, and join our Discord community linked in the description below for more real-time insights and discussions. Alright, so what's the big news here? Farmers National Banc Corp, a company that's been around for a while and is publicly traded on the Nasdaq under the ticker FMNB, is giving us an update on their performance. The real meat of this report is about their latest earnings for the quarter that ended on June 30, 2025. Think of this as their performance review for the last 3 months, and they've shared the details with investors. Now, when companies announce earnings, they usually attach a press release or some financial information to explain how they did. Farmers National Banc Corp has done just that, providing a press release as Exhibit 99.1. This is basically their official announcement, giving us the rundown on their financial health for that period. They're also giving us a supplemental presentation, which is Exhibit 99.2. This is like a slideshow that investors can look at to get a clearer picture of their first quarter earnings and other important financial tidbits. It's a way to make the numbers more digestible and show the story behind the figures. It's important to note that this information is being shared, but it's not quite the same as being filed in a way that makes the company liable under certain sections of the law, like Section 18 of the Exchange Act. It's more of a friendly heads up to investors. They also want us to know that this information won't automatically be considered part of their future filings with the Securities Act unless they specifically say so. So basically they're sharing this current performance update, but it's kept a bit separate from their ongoing, more formal legal filings. This part is all about making sure information is shared fairly with everyone. When a company has something important to share like these earnings, they need to make sure all investors get the news at the same time. This is what Regulation FD, or fair disclosure, is all about, and it seems Farmers National Banc Corp is following those rules by publicly releasing this supplemental presentation. So let's think about what's in that press release. Usually these releases give us a high-level overview of how the company performed financially. We'd be looking for things like revenue growth or decline profit figures and any key performance indicators that management wants to highlight. It's the company's way of putting its best foot forward and explaining the results of their hard work over the last quarter. The investor presentation is where we often find the juicy details. This is where they might show comparative data from previous quarters or years, allowing us to see trends. They might also break down revenue streams or discuss operating expenses and provide insights into future plans or outlooks. It's the visual story of their financial journey. Although the filing itself doesn't contain the actual financial tables we're talking about, the press release and presentation are where you'd find those detailed numbers. Based on the context of an 8K filing, when companies announce earnings, we typically expect to see figures related to net income, earnings per share, and perhaps key balance sheet items. Knowing this is a bank, we'd also be keen to see details on loan growth, deposit trends, and the net interest margin, which is a key profitability driver for financial institutions. If their revenue grew by, say, 20%, that means they're bringing in 1/5 more money than before. If profits dropped by 10%, that means for every bringing in 1/5 more money than before. If profits dropped by 10%, that means for every bringing in 1/5 more money than before. If profits dropped by 10%, that means for every $10 they used to make, they are now only making 9. It's important to translate these percentages into what they actually mean for the business and its shareholders. In terms of company direction, Farmers National Banc Corp, as a regional bank, is likely focused on growing its customer base, managing interest rate risks, and expanding its services within its operating region. Their competition would be other community banks and larger regional players in Ohio and surrounding areas. How they are performing against these peers, given their market opportunities and threats, is what we'd be looking for in the detailed financials. A strong showing in loan growth and deposit stability would indicate they are winning customers and managing their funding costs effectively. Conversely, a slowdown in these areas might signal competitive pressure or a less favourable economic environment for lending. And who's signing off on this important update? Kevin J. Helmick, the President and Chief Executive Officer. This signifies that the top leadership is endorsing the information being shared with the public. Now for my take on this filing. What we have here is a standard earnings announcement in the form of an 8K. The real substance of the financial performance will be in those attached exhibits, the press release and the investor presentation. These documents are crucial for understanding how Farmers National Bank Corp is actually doing. Without seeing those specifics, we can't really say if they're excelling or struggling. However, the act of providing these detailed updates shows transparency and commitment to keeping investors informed. The key for us as observers is to dig into those attached documents and see the numbers. Are they growing profits? Are their loans performing well? Are their deposits increasing? Those documents are crucial for understanding how Farmers National Bank Corp is actually doing. Without seeing those specifics, we can't really say if they're excelling or struggling. However, the act of providing these detailed updates shows transparency and commitment to keeping investors informed. The key for us as observers is to dig into those attached documents and see the numbers. Are they growing profits? Are their loans performing well? Are their deposits increasing? Those are the questions the exhibits will answer. The fact that the President and CEO is signing off indicates that the leadership team stands behind these results. This is a good sign of accountability. In conclusion, Farmers National Bank Corp is giving us its latest performance report, and the key takeaways will be in the attached press release and investor presentation. We need to see those numbers to truly evaluate their operational success and financial condition. It's a snapshot of their current health and a guide to what's happening in the banking sector for this particular company. Alright, that's our breakdown of this Farmers National Bank Corp filing. What's your take on these updates and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.